In Squid Game Season 3, not every death was tragic. Some felt well earned. In this video, we're breaking down the most deserved deaths of the season, the ones that had us nodding in satisfaction. Let's first talk about one of the most dramatic and well-deserved deaths in the entire season. Player 044, the Shaman Lady. From the very beginning, she was manipulative, cunning, and completely self-serving. She presented herself as some kind of spiritual guide or prophet, leading a small cult-like group of devoted followers who hung on to her every word. And what did she do with that trust? She threw it away repeatedly. We saw her abandon her followers without hesitation, most notably in the fourth game when she discovered Nam-Gyu and Myung-gi hiding in a room. She opened the door, saw them inside, and instead of warning her group or shouting anything, she slowly backed away, calmly shut the door and ran. Just left them there. Her followers, confused and calling out for her, were then immediately ambushed and killed. She did absolutely nothing. So by the time we get to her final moments, she's already burned every bridge she had. Alone, desperate, and mentally frayed, she finally stumbles upon the exit door. For a second, it seems like her luck might actually turn. She has one of the three keys, specifically the circle key, and just needs the other two to open the door and escape. That's when she crosses paths with none other than Gramps, who just so happens to have both the triangle and square keys in his possession. She immediately teams up with him, claiming she knows where the exit is. They walk back to the door together, and she really believes she's about to walk out of this nightmare. But in a beautifully ironic twist, Gramps plays her at her own game. As soon as the door opens, he shoves her backward, steps inside alone, pulls one of the keys out, and locks her out. She's left screaming and pounding on the door, begging to be let in, but of course, nothing happens. And then, just when it couldn't get worse, Min-soo arrives. Completely out of his mind from the Thanos pills, hallucinating and emotionally broken, he sees the Shaman Lady and, in his delusional state, mistakes her for Nam-Gyu, the person who killed Sammy. Screaming Sammy's name, Min-soo brutally stabs her over and over. It's a horrifying and chaotic death, but let's be honest, it was deserved. She manipulated, betrayed, and sacrificed others for her own gain, and in the end faced the same cold abandonment she showed everyone else. Next up is Young-sik's death, which in my opinion wasn't tragic. It was kind of earned. Throughout the games, he kept a low profile, not out of strategy, but out of cowardice. He never killed, not because he was kind, but because he was too scared to get his hands dirty. But when push came to shove, that fear turned into something far worse. Desperation mixed with selfishness. Right after Hyunju's death, Junhee and Gyumja finally find the exit door she told them about. They're beaten down, grieving, but ready to escape. And then, just as they're about to open the door, Young-sik appears, knife in hand, eyes wide. He doesn't hesitate to threaten Junhee, a young mother holding a newborn, just to save himself. He's ready to murder her. Gyumja tries to reason with him. She pleads with her own son to stop. But Young-sik doesn't care. He throws his own mother to the ground like she's nothing. He raises the knife, ready to strike Junhee down, his hands trembling, but his mind made up. And that's when karma hits, literally. A sharp stab to his back. The one person who ever truly cared about him, his mother, had to be the one to stop him. Gyumja, heartbroken and betrayed, uses the hidden blade in her hairpin to put an end to her son's madness. Young-sik stumbles, drops to the ground, and weakly mutters, "Mom." The guards arrive and finish the job, killing him completely. Young-sik's death isn't sad. It's what happens when a man lets fear turn into cruelty and chooses selfishness over decency. Next up, we have one of the most satisfying eliminations of the entire season. Player 124, Nam-Gyu. And I'm sorry for Nam-Gyu lovers. If you've watched even just a few episodes of Season 2, you already know just how unlikable this guy was. Manipulative, arrogant, constantly belittling others. But the one thing Nam-Gyu treasured above all else, more than any alliance, more than the prize money, was his stash of Thanos pills. Those pills were his sense of power, his addiction, and ultimately, his downfall. So when we get to the jump rope game, Nam-Gyu is already falling apart. He's lost track of his pills and has no idea that Min-soo, yes, that Min-soo, the one he constantly tormented throughout the competition, is now in possession of them. And Min-soo knows it. He knows exactly how much those pills meant to Nam-Gyu. That's when Min-soo approaches him cool and calm, holding something in his hand, the cross necklace. Nam-Gyu's eyes lock onto it instantly. That's where the pills were hidden. The panic sets in. Min-Soo, now in full revenge mode, pulls the necklace out slowly and flashes it in front of Nam-Gyu. You can practically hear the gotcha moment. Nam-Gyu loses it. He starts yelling, begging, threatening, everything at once. But Min-Soo isn't afraid anymore. He's had enough. Without a word, he casually tosses the cross, Nam-Gyu's lifeline, onto the deadly glass bridge where no player has dared to step yet. Nam-Gyu, shaking and desperate, realizes he has no other option. The pills are his last hope. He steps out onto the bridge and starts jumping. Everyone watches in silence, and somehow he makes it to the cross. He grabs it, opens it, and finds nothing. The cross is empty. There are no pills. It was a setup. A perfect, merciless trap. Nam-Gyu's face goes pale. He doesn't scream, he doesn't move. He just stands there in stunned silence, overwhelmed by betrayal and disbelief. And then, wham! The massive rope swings in and sends him flying off the bridge. No resistance, no fight. Just a villain consumed by his own obsession and played at his own game. Nam-Gyu, player 124, eliminated. A brutal and honestly well-earned exit. This next one, even if it isn't even a secondary character, felt so deserved. From the very little we saw of him, Kim Gi-min, player 203, made himself easy to hate. While some contestants showed signs of humanity or internal struggle, Gi-min was pure aggression and selfishness from the start. It wasn't just that he was playing to survive, it's that he clearly enjoyed the violence. He was constantly trying to intimidate others, especially Daeho, throwing off his jacket and getting in players' faces whenever he didn't get his way. He wasn't a leader, he was a loose cannon. But his worst moment, and the point of no return, came during the Lights Out game. In complete darkness, he didn't hesitate. He hunted player 094 down and stabbed them to death without warning or remorse. It was a murder of pure opportunity. It became clear Gi-min wasn't trying to survive the games, he was thriving in them. Then, during Knives and Keys, he continued this pattern of selective loyalty. He helped save Young-sik from another player, but not out of kindness, to survive the game and kill someone. By the final game, Squid Game, Gi-min had nothing left but rage. After Myung-gi kicked Yoon-tae off the platform, Gi-min snapped. He completely lost control, pinning Gi-hun to the floor and screaming like a man possessed. It was one of the most brutal moments of the final game. But Gi-hun fought back. He stabbed Gi-min repeatedly in key areas, finally bringing down the most feral player in the game. Gi-min died where he stood, not remembered as a fighter, but as a monster whose own cruelty led him straight to the end he deserved. This next was definitely the most deserved. The death that we all cheered and waited for. The death of player 100, Im Jong-dae, or as we call him, our beloved Gramps. If there's one character who made viewers' blood boil with every appearance, it was him. And thankfully, his story ends in one of the most satisfying and well-earned deaths in Squid Game history. From the moment he entered the game, Gramps acted like a man with wisdom and experience, someone others could trust. But that image quickly crumbled. He constantly manipulated others for his own benefit, pretending to be an ally while secretly plotting their downfall. He rallied players to vote O, not because he believed in survival, but because he craved the bloodshed and the growing prize pool. He faked concern, made deals, and turned on every single person who helped him the moment it suited him. His betrayal of the shaman lady was already a major red flag. After promising to escape with her using all 3 keys to the exit, he shoved her aside and locked the door behind him without a second thought. That moment made it crystal clear Gramps would do anything to win. Mercy didn't exist in his vocabulary. By the time we reach the final rounds of the Squid Game, most of his allies are gone. The O faction has imploded from the inside. 4 out of 6 of them have already turned on each other and died. Jong-dae is finally exposed and alone, just as the chaos he helped create starts closing in on him. Desperate, he tries to strike one last shady deal, offering Gi-hun and Myung-gi a slice of his potential winnings if they let him live. But neither of them are fooled. They've seen his tricks, they've seen the people he's betrayed, manipulated, and left to die. The trust is gone completely, so when they walk up to him, metal pole in hand, they definitely know what to do. Jong-dae panics. He pleads, begs for mercy, but this time, no one's listening. MG Coin pushes him toward the edge and strikes. The pole knocks him off the platform, and just like that, Zhongdae falls into the void, his reign of manipulation ending in silence. It was a death that didn't just eliminate a player, it cleansed the game of one of its darkest, most treacherous forces. A death that felt so right, and a final moment of justice in a game built on cruelty. And lastly, MG Coin's death, which in Season 3 was one of the most satisfying moments of the entire season. It marked the end of a character who started out trustworthy, but slowly turned into one of the most cold-hearted and selfish players in the game. At first, MG Coin seemed like a decent man, but as the games went on, his true personality started to show. His hunger for money and survival took over everything else. By the final game, he had betrayed and killed a lot of people, and he wanted to kill Gi-hun, who had protected the baby and stood by his side. He even threatened to kill the baby if Gi-hun didn't follow his orders. In the final moments, MG Coin confronted Gi-hun during the Sky Squid Game. He told Gi-hun to leave the baby on the floor and back away, threatening to kill them both. Gi-hun, remembering his promise to protect the child, didn't want to give in, but with no other choice, he carefully placed the baby down and stepped away. MG Coin picked her up, prepared to kill Gi-hun, but then he noticed something. Gi-hun had a sharp knife, the same one given to him by the frontman earlier. Suddenly, MG Coin's confidence disappeared. Realizing he might lose the fight, he made a shocking and horrifying decision. He held his own daughter out over the void, threatening to drop her if Gi-hun got any closer. That moment changed everything. Gi-hun couldn't let an innocent baby die. He rushed in and a brutal fight began between the two who looked like allies. MG Coin did everything he could to win, but Gi-hun fought with everything he had left. In the end, MG Coin was thrown off the platform and fell to his death. His death felt like justice. After all the betrayals, after threatening a baby's life, and after all the lives he helped take, his fall was the natural end of his story. MG Coin had crossed too many lines, and in the end, he paid the price for it. A dark but fitting end to a character who let greed destroy everything good in him. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments which death was the most deserved in your opinion, and let me know if I missed any. See you guys in the next one.